Hi, everyone. I have a story today that's shocking, emotional, and honestly a little heartbreaking, but it has a lesson at the end. I've been married to my husband, Mark, for 7 years. From the outside, we had the perfect life. We lived in a beautiful house, had two amazing kids, and friends who often told us we looked like the ideal couple. People saw us as happy, stable, and successful. But appearances can be deceiving. It all started about a year ago. I noticed Mark was acting differently. He became distant, quiet, and distracted, even when we were at home together. Sometimes he'd take phone calls in another room, disappear into the garage for hours, or make last-minute work trips that didn't quite make sense. At first, I tried not to overthink it. I trusted him. I told myself everyone has moments of stress. But deep down, something didn't feel right. Then one evening, it happened. I was in the kitchen making dinner when Mark left his phone on the counter, something he never did. A notification popped up. Curiosity got the better of me, and I glanced at it. My stomach dropped. The messages were from someone named Sophie. And yes, I admit, my first reaction was fear, betrayal, panic. But as I read more, I realized it wasn't what I expected. These weren't romantic messages. They were conversations filled with advice, support, and encouragement. Sophie seemed to be helping Mark deal with stress at work, family matters, and personal doubts. She was his confidant, his emotional support, someone he didn't feel comfortable opening up to with me. I was hurt, yes, but also confused. I wondered why he couldn't talk to me, his wife, about these things. Why hide this relationship? Was our marriage lacking something I didn't realize? Around the same time, I made a shocking discovery about myself. For months, I had secretly met my old college friend, Jake. It started innocently. Coffee once a week, just to catch up. But gradually, I began sharing things with him I wasn't sharing with Mark. Frustrations, fears, even doubts about myself. Like Mark's conversations with Sophie, my meetings with Jake were emotional. I wasn't having an affair in the classic sense, but I was seeking support outside my marriage. And just like Mark, I had kept it secret, afraid he might judge me. The irony hit me hard. Both of us were hiding emotional affairs from each other, both of us feeling lonely, both of us craving understanding. And here we were, living under the same roof, pretending everything was perfect. I tried to ignore it, thinking maybe it would go away. But the tension in the house kept building. The distance between Mark and me grew until, one evening, it erupted. It started with a small argument about dinner. A stupid argument, but it quickly escalated. Voices were raised, tears were shed, and finally, we both stopped and looked at each other, exhausted and frustrated. That's when the confessions started. I told him about Jake. He told me about Sophie. And for the first time in months, maybe years, we were brutally honest with each other. At first, there was silence. The kind of silence that weighs heavier than words. But slowly, as we talked, something unexpected happened. We didn't feel angry anymore. Not really. We felt relief. Relief because the secrets were finally out, and clarity replaced confusion. We realized that neither of us was seeking betrayal. Neither of us wanted to hurt the other. What we were both missing was emotional connection, the kind of open, safe communication that we had stopped prioritizing in our busy lives. The hidden friendships weren't about love. They were about being heard, being understood, feeling less alone. The next few months were some of the hardest of our marriage. We started therapy, both individually and together. We spent hours talking, not about the secrets themselves, but about why we felt the need to hide, about the gaps in our communication, about the fears and insecurities we had ignored for years. We had to face uncomfortable truths, that we had grown complacent, that we had assumed love alone was enough, and that emotional intimacy requires constant effort. Slowly, change happened. Mark began sharing more of his thoughts, worries, and dreams with me, without fear of judgment. I started doing the same. We found new ways to reconnect, small rituals that reminded us of why we fell in love in the first place. Even the kids noticed. There was laughter again, and warmth that had been missing. What surprised me most was that our marriage didn't just recover, it became stronger. The experience taught us lessons we never would have learned otherwise. Secrets aren't always about betrayal. Sometimes they're about unmet needs, fears, or shame. Emotional affairs are real, even if no physical cheating occurs. They reveal where connection is missing. Communication is everything. Without honesty, even the strongest marriages can drift apart. Growth can come from pain. Facing our mistakes, fears, and vulnerabilities brought us closer than years of pretending everything was fine ever could. Now, we have a rule. No more secrets, even small ones. We still have our friends, hobbies, and personal space, but we share the emotional parts that really matter. And yes, we still have difficult days, but when they happen, we talk. We listen. We trust. Looking back, I realized the affairs weren't what threatened our marriage. They were warning signs. They showed us what we were missing and gave us a chance to fix it before it was too late. It was a hard lesson, but it was worth it. So if you take anything from this story, let it be this. Marriages aren't perfect. People aren't perfect. And love isn't enough on its own. Emotional honesty, trust, and the courage to face uncomfortable truths. That's what keeps a marriage strong. Mark and I are not the perfect couple, but we are a couple who learned to grow together, even when life pushed us apart. And maybe that's the best kind of love there is.